What's happening, people? How we all doing? We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok for a wee half an hour or so to talk about all the big topics of the day, particularly Stephen Robinson um, leaving St Mirren to go to Aberdeen. Alexa, stop. Which to me is big news in Scottish football. You know what I mean? I think that he's going to do a really good job. Loads of people think that, especially Aberdeen fans, they're not too happy about it. You know what I mean? They're not exactly thrilled that Stephen Robinson may leave. May has went to Aberdeen even. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about here. Thanks for the likes, Heidi, on TikTok. How you doing, pal? Nice to see you. Like I say, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. So if you're not following, hit the follow button, please. If anybody's got any questions, please put them in the comment section. I want to just talk about all the big topics that anybody wants to discuss. I'm very well, Heidi. How are you, pal? Thanks very much for coming in and your likes and that as usual. And your support is very much appreciated, pal. So what do we make of Stephen Robinson? What do we make of Stephen Robinson leaving to go to Aberdeen? Does anybody get any thoughts on it? What's people thinking? Do you think that he'll do a good job? Do you think that he'll fail? Do you think it's just too big a step up for Stephen Robinson? Because he's going to be under a lot more pressure now as Aberdeen manager than he was as St Mirren manager. He's going to be expected to win a lot more than he was when he was at St Mirren. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see whether Stephen Robinson can live up to the pressure. He's quite an experienced manager now. He's in his early 50s. He's been down south at Morecambe. He has obviously managed St Mirren for quite a while now. He made St Mirren go in the top six the last 3 seasons. They've won a cup this season, beating Celtic in the final. So Heidi says, I think he was always going to go, tipped for a big job because of how well he does at St Mirren. He done it at St Mirren. Exactly. We've had Robbie and we've had Ryan on the podcast many times, 2 big St Mirren fans. And they were dreading this day, I believe. I believe they were dreading the day that Stephen Robinson decided to move on. I think a lot of people were expecting him to go to Northern Ireland because he's stated before that that's his dream job. But, I mean, he's still a relatively young guy, young manager. He's still got many years ahead of him, I'm sure, to be a manager and stuff. So, I mean, good luck to him. Good luck to Stephen Robinson at Aberdeen. I do believe that he will do a good job. I mean, I've actually put money on it with my fellow podcast host, Davey. He thinks that Stephen Robinson will be out of the Aberdeen job, sacked, all the rest of it within a year. And I think that Stephen Robinson is going to succeed at Aberdeen. I really do. Like I say, guys, anybody any questions, please put them in the comment section. Let's have a wee chat about any kind of topic, any football topic you want to talk about, put it in the chat. McD, how you doing, pal? Nice to see you on TikTok. Nice to see you. I think Stephen Robinson will do great. Me too, pal. Me too. David Gray on YouTube. How you doing, David? Oh, sorry, Facebook, you're on, David. I think Aberdeen may have a problem if Northern Ireland come calling for him. Well, the thing is, mate, I'm assuming that Stephen Robinson understands that Northern Ireland are going to be out a manager soon, and he's probably just went down the road of, I want to crack at another club at the moment. Like I said a couple of minutes ago, he's still a relatively young manager, a relatively young man. I'm sure that he will have opportunities coming up in the future, particularly if he does really well at Aberdeen, which I do predict he will. I think he's going to have better players and stuff, isn't he? At Aberdeen and that. So I'm confident Stephen Robinson will do well. Stephen Robinson does well at every club he's had. McD, you're spot on, mate. He does. He even done really well at Morecambe, I think. All right, mate. How you doing, Kiko? Kiko67's on TikTok. Guys, if you're not following, we're currently on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok live. We're live on all 3 platforms for the first time ever, I think, really, to be honest with you. So if you're watching this, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button. All right, big man, what's happening? Mike, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you in. Wasn't he Motherwell manager too? He was Motherwell manager before he went to Morecambe, mate, yes. What do you think of Robinson to Aberdeen, asked Mike? I think that it's a very good appointment for Aberdeen. I think it's a good appointment for Stephen Robinson. I think it's a different challenge for him. that I do believe it's going to work out well. I think a lot of Aberdeen fans are sceptical, which I understand to a certain extent. It's not the big kind of foreign, big, sexy name that you want. Do you know what I mean? But Stephen Robinson knows the league. He knows how to win trophies with smaller clubs, and he knows how to get victories against the old firm. He knows how to do the job. So that is the biggest challenge for him so far. Yes, it's the biggest challenge for him. St Mirren fans really rated him. They did, Mike, because of, like I say, mate, 3 top 6 finishes in a row, which is incredible for a club the size of St Mirren. So I just think it's a really good appointment. I don't understand the timing. I don't understand why Aberdeen waited so long and won a trophy too. Exactly. I don't understand why Aberdeen waited so long. I really don't. Rangers TBF, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you in here. Yeah, but more pressure on him at Aberdeen. Of course, mate, it's going to be a lot different pressure for him, but I think he'll do well. He deserves a crack at a bigger club, says McD. Spot on, mate. He sure does. I think he's earned it now. And what is it Aberdeen really wanted? Did they want just a big foreign manager they'd never heard of just because he's worked in a different league and all that? And nah, for me, Stephen Robinson is the right man. Definitely. David on Facebook. Do you think Rangers have an advantage or a disadvantage with St Mirren being managerless? Good question, mate. I think it's an advantage to Rangers because I don't think St Mirren will have a new manager in. By the time Sunday comes, it'll be an interim manager, won't it? And it'll be, just taking charge of the team for a week or two, I would imagine. Although there is talk of maybe, waiting to the end of the season to get a manager, just keep an interim manager in a new game, a few games. But to me, I think you should always try and get your manager in as early as possible. You know what I mean? Even if your focus isn't this season, like St Mirren, although they're still in a semi-final of a cup, you know what I mean? I think that you should always try and get your manager in early, man. I really do. I'd be happy if I was Aberdeen fan with that appointment. Me too, McD. So would I, mate. Bigger picture, isn't it? Bigger picture. The guy's worked in the league for many, many years. He knows the teams that he's playing against. He knows the league well. He knows what he needs, and he's going to have more resources now. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like he did brilliantly at St Mirren identifying players and all that while doing in England, or getting young players to come up through the system and stuff like that. So he's going to have even more resources now to go and get players that he would particularly want, rather than just kind of have to, bed people in and get, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense? Apologies, that was a wee ramble there. Don't really get that one. But what other topics have happened today? I don't think anything's really happened today, but we've got a big weekend of football coming up, haven't we? Celtic are going to struggle, I think, against Motherwell. It's going to be a really intense match, that one. Celtic Rangers still being silent on Sunday's actions is worrying. I think possibly, mate, they'll just take their time through legal wise. Do you know what I mean? They probably do want to come out and make statements and stuff, but the police will probably just say, wait the now and we'll discuss everything and then you can make your statements. I'm sure that we will get statements I'd imagine to start of next week or something, mate, or even tomorrow. I think they will, McD. I think they will. They're probably just taking their time, trying to identify the guys who were involved as well, and anybody who incited violence. I'm assuming they won't just, lift everybody who went on the park on Sunday. I'm assuming they'll see who incited any violence, who threw any punches, who threw any kicks. I'm assuming that that's who they're going after. Did you see Rangers' allocation at Celtic Park? I did not, mate. What is it? Big Dave McPherson for the St Mirren job. Dave McPherson? Why Dave McPherson, mate? Is that just a kind of left wing shout? Yeah, get them all banned for life at both clubs. Agreed, mate. I've got no time for anybody. Listen, I've got no time for anybody who went on the park on Sunday, but particularly no time for anybody who tried to actually fight with people. They're proper idiots, man. I think they get 2,500 in for game at Celtic Park. I'm not surprised, mate, to be honest with you. I'm surprised they even got that much. Rangers have released a statement already. David says that Rangers have released a statement already. I've not seen that, David. I haven't seen that, mate. But I mean, it's about time they came out and said something, but like I say, it's probably legal wise. Do you think it will spill over into the next Celtic Rangers game, mate? Absolutely, man. Absolutely, there's going to be. Although I do believe the police will go to both clubs and say, "Don't even think about trying to wind anybody up on the stands and all that." Um, but I think it'll spill over as in between the fans and that. Aye, but Rangers' statement is embarrassing. What was the statement, guys? Just give me like a brief one sentence summary of it if you can. Mate, Rangers might actually, of course, they will wreck the stadium, but to be honest with you, mate, they do that all the time anyway. Celtic and Rangers fans wreck the stadiums, so you're going to have idiots. You're not going to be able to stop idiots from getting in. It's as simple as that, man. You might get 2,500 Celtic fans in, but you're going to get a handful of idiots, no doubt. It's just the way it goes, unfortunately. Statements: Celtic fans never went past the penalty spot. Rangers fans the length of the pitch. Mate, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. See, this argument really annoys me. I think that it's a good appointment, Jamie. He's asking thoughts on Robinson's coming in for us. I think it's a good appointment. Mate, I don't care, honestly. Honestly, I don't care the reasons anybody came on the park on Sunday. I really don't. Obviously, it is, if you went on the park to fight, you're a moron, right? But if you're on the park to celebrate, you're a moron. You know what I mean? A Celtic fan at Ibrox in a toxic environment, which we all know the both fans can't get near each other. Do you know what I mean? And you decide to jump on the park and celebrate. Come on, give peace, man. Any sensible person knows you don't do that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, but that happens all the time. So what? So what? It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. The Rangers statement was in Urdu due to respect for Ramadan. It was for Allah and Ulster. Seriously? Jeez, oh man. Any fan going on the pitch is not right, mate. I agree completely, bro. I agree completely. We ran on the pitch. There's another argument I just don't get at all, Mazza. Don't talk rubbish, mate. No Rangers fan went on the park to protect anybody on Sunday. Rangers fans went on the park because they wanted to fight with people, right? Now, I do not condone any Celtic fan going on, right? But Rangers fans ran on to fight with people. It wasn't a protection. Let's go and protect our players. Where was the protection when Tavernier was getting fucking shouting balled at? Minding a few old firm ago, about last year, was it? When the boy was screaming at him that you're a fucking loser and all that, and there was people all about him. Where was the protection then? There was no protection. They went on to fight. Celebrating is nowhere near as going on to fight. I'm not saying it is, mate, but it's still no right to go on to celebrate at Ibrox when you're a Celtic fan. It's asking for trouble. Imagine being at the Parkhead and Rangers fans ran on. Would you be like, they're celebrating, guys, come on. They went on to celebrate. Would you really? You wouldn't. We ran on the pitch because you did it first. So basically you wanted to fight. That's why we ran on. It doesn't make it right though, mate. It doesn't make it right. Anybody get on the park, Mazza. It doesn't make it right, mate. Jamie, tell Robbie I'm still in for 2 tickets. I don't know if Robbie's in the live. Robbie, if you're in the live, mate, Craig's still looking for his 2 tickets for Sunday. I mean, it's just so many excuses. Boys like Mazza saying, it's you ran on to fight, so we came on to protect, man. Geck, honestly, these people need to sit in a. Do you know what you need to start doing, guys? People who come out with wild comments, right? Sit in a room and just think for yourself. Stop reading other people's comments. Stop jumping to conclusions because you read something. So think for yourself and think to yourself, right, if that was me in that position, if that was me, you're a Celtic fan, right? Say you're a Celtic fan and you're in that fucking no bother, Craig. You're in that Broomland Road on Sunday, right? And Celtic score that goal. Do you run on that park? See if you do, you're a moron. The first thing is just, celebrate where you're. Ha, get it up, you know what I mean, to the opposition fans. Ha, ha, ha. You don't fucking run on the park at Ibrox, man. Think clearly here. There was wains in the crowd. It was shocking behaviour from adults. 100%, mate. 100%. It's just mental throwing in flares to wait at this wains there and the elderly there and all that. Oh, man. The excuses for some people are just mad, sorry. If I ran on the pitch, it would be for them straight bag of team we got. But the thing is, Marky, you wouldn't run on the pitch for no reason. You know what I mean? Exactly. Exactly, Staffy. Staffy King says it's ludicrous to blame the other side. It sure is, man. I'm no denying, right? I'm no denying that both set of fans. Thanks very much, Rangers TBF, for the hat me. I'm no denying that both set of fans went onto the park for different reasons. They did, right? They did. The Celtic fans who ran on were over celebrating and wanted to annoy the Rangers fans, right? Whereas the Rangers fans who retaliated to that, who ran all the way the length of the park, was to fight. It wasn't for protection, man. It wasn't like Kevin Costner and fucking the bodyguard. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's just a case of fucking both ran on for, but it doesn't make any it right though. You know what I mean? Whatever reason you came on for, you're a fanny, you entered the field of play and there's still players on the park, there's still backroom staff on the park, the officials were still on the park, you're a fanny. Aye, Kevin Costner, man. Some of the Rangers fans were running down there with a mask on singing, I will always love you. Aye, so they fucking won, man. They were on going like, I'm getting to the effing Fenian bees, weren't they? Don't try compare it. It's always the Huns involved. Wow, man. Wow, mate. So it's all right for Celtic to run on it. Celtic fans to run on the park. If you say so, mate. To be fair, mate, the game was done. Doesn't matter. The game was done, mate. If everybody was still in the park. Just on, why does Robinson, the new Dons manager? Because it's a step up for him, mate. It's a step up. Some singer, Jamie, I know. Thanks very much, Craigie boy. I can really belt out a wee fucking tune, can't I? I'm a Celtic fan, Mark. The boys only went on the pitch for selfies with Martin and the players. Mission accomplished. I don't agree with you, Alex. I really don't agree with you at all, man. That is some appointment for Aberdeen, Mark. It sure is. There is no talking to some people, Jamie says. Jamie, you are spot on. Heard Rangers fans are going to wreck Parkhead next Old Firm. Shocking, mate. It's just the way it's going to be. Again, it's going to be retaliation for what Celtic fans done at Ibrox. Do you know what I mean? The win should have been the only thing talked about. This bullshit shouldn't be overshadowing it. Spot on, Lee. That's a very good point, man. I mean, I've come on here for 5 minutes to talk about Stephen Robinson, and we've already got ball deep into what happened after the game on Sunday, which I understand. I get it. You know what I mean? It's the big talking point. It is a kind of big deal and all that. But again, it's been overshadowed by idiots, isn't it? It's like giving people who abuse you online or whatever a platform by replying to them and stuff. The fact that we are given, it's like, you see it on X and that, right, where people it says a Rangers podcast and it's a Celtic fan, right, and they'll take a clip of a Rangers podcast to go, look at these fannies, right? Do they not realise that they're just giving that podcast like airtime? They're actually doing it a favour. You know what I mean? When you're talking about something, when you're giving something exposure, that's a good thing, whether it's good or bad. You know what I mean? Celtic were class in the penalty shootout, to be honest, with practice. They must have done, mate. I think that Martin O'Neill and Celtic played for the draw. They played for penalties, in my opinion. Thanks for the heart, me, Kelly. It's John, mate. John, how you doing? Thanks very much, mate, for that. So the Shelfco fans were refused. Sorry? So the Shelfco fans were refused selfies with Martin and his players. I don't really get that one, Alex. I don't really get that one, mate. I'm sorry. Maybe they came on for selfies. Well, Celtic fans came on for selfies, but Rangers fans came on to fight. But anyway, the Celtic fans shouldn't have been on the park for selfies at Ibrox. At fucking Ibrox, you're a Celtic fan. Oh my God. Rangers should have done their jobs. It shouldn't have gotten to Pens defending and Sinisalo. Very good point, Lee. Very good point. I mean, obviously, from a Celtic point of view, right, I'm looking at it for the Celtic point of view, where I'm looking at the game solely focused on Celtic. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? That's how you do when you're a fan and stuff. But I was interested to hear Rangers fans' points of view, because Rangers had all the possession, they had all the opportunities. Every time the ball went in the box, it was an opportunity for Rangers. Chermiti got pretty tired and didn't really, cause anything that. But from a Celtic point of view, I thought they defended really well. But from a Rangers point of view, you've got to be disappointed, man, that they didn't get a goal, because There was opportunities there for Rangers. We were awful. Do you honestly think you were awful though, Mark? Do you think you were awful? I mean, like I say, you were a better team. You were the better team, but you just couldn't score. Celtic have like 8 of their best players injured. Well, Jota, Carter Vickers, Kieran Tierney, McGregor all get in the team, didn't they? Schmeichel, don't know. Celtic diehard, 53 years followed us all over and would never go on any park. Exactly, mate, exactly. Busty, what's happening, mate? Nice to see you on YouTube. Just so everybody knows, this will be a common thing from you on. Well, from now on, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. So if you're no following, or if you watch it later on, hit the follow button, guys. Hit the subscribe button. We really need to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube before the end of the year. That's what I'm really hoping for. Rangers have a mentality issue. They can't win. Pressure. Good point, mate. I think that's a good point. That has been accused of Rangers over the years. So, okay, Jamie. So did Martin and his players refuse to get selfies with the pitch invaders? I don't really have much of a choice, mate. They were celebrating and stuff. What you meant to do? Push everybody away, Alex? You know what I mean? Rangers weren't awful, just didn't get a goal. I kind of agree with that. I agree with that. I don't think Rangers were awful. I think Celtic were fucking... There was only... To be fair to Rangers, right, there was only one team wanting to win the match. Celtic, even when they brought on Nvuku and Forrest, they created nothing. They didn't even get hardly got up the park. We also had the best chance. Shermitty had the best chance put on a plate for him about 10 yards out and he scuffed it by the post. Yep, exactly. When the ball came in the second half, aye, that's right, mate. You know, Shermitty had a big chance and Celtic gambled on Sunday. Celtic made a major gamble on Sunday by playing for penalties because look at Shermitty's first goal last week, 2 weeks ago, isn't he? And the first one. And, you know, that overhead kick, that could have happened again. Rangers could have pulled something out of the blue. It's fucking fantastic. Whereas Celtic kind of played for... You know what I mean? They played for the draw. You just said they were not on to celebrate. No, I didn't, mate. I said Celtic were on to celebrate. Celtic fans were on to celebrate, but it doesn't make it right, is what I was saying. Rangers fans went on to fight. And that doesn't make it right either. The Rangers weren't protecting their team, man. Like some American fucking bodyguard, like I said. Best way of defending all season. I thought that I'm really impressed with this new boy. Young Benjamin Arthur. I know that he did make a couple of wee mistakes, but for his first 2 games it's in Celtic shirt, I'm happy with him. I think there's a player in there protecting their team, man, like some sort of fucking FBI agents, you know what I mean? Do you think it's shocking Rangers fans want rid of Rowe? I wouldn't say it's shocking because at the end of the day, alright, he's beat Celtic the other week. A few months ago when Wilfred Nonce was the manager at Parkhead. But he's no winning the big matches. He's no winning against Motherwell away. He's no winning against Celtic at home. He's no winning against Hibs away. You know what I mean? So I can kind of see he's no beating Hearts at Tynecastle. I can kind of see why people are frustrated with him. But personally, if I was a Rangers fan, I would I'd beat Hearts at home, but I'm saying at Tynecastle. And I'm giving you examples of when he hasn't won. He's lost more big matches than he has won them. Put that way. You've given me one example there, mate. I gave you 3 examples of when he's not won big matches. I wish we could get rid of this poisonous sectarianism. Banter is great, but a line should be drawn. Well, I've done a few videos about it now, mate. Mostly people agree with me, to be honest, that sectarianism is wrong. And you do get the odd idiot, like I done a video the other day about a guy who replied saying, nah, sectarian, I'm all for it and all that. We'll never get anywhere, man, as long as people like that exist and they're teaching their wains that to hate your fellow fucking man. Do you know what I mean? Can't be anything happening in Scotland all week, nothing but pitch invasion. I know, mate, because that is such a big topic, though, isn't it? I mean, who would have expected that kind of thing in 2026? I'm really not sure I would have. That is a big thing, to be honest with you. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? We just need to learn from it. The police need to learn from it. I mean, the police have been getting quite a lot of stick, right? And I do understand why, because At the end of the day, it shouldn't have happened in the first place, right? They should have been, like, Corey was at the game, right? And he was saying that the policing was shocking, that there wasn't enough kind of dividing between everybody, right? But again, I think you've got to give the Police a lot of credit for how they dealt with it while it was happening. Because while everybody was on the park, I thought the Police kind of handled it pretty well. It could have got really nasty. Do you know what I mean? It could have. Police should have been set up at Hampden, exactly. But as soon as Celtic got, as soon as that penalty shootout happened, as soon as the penalty shootout happened, the Polish should have been surrounding everywhere. But maybe that will happen from on. Maybe that'll be a. But then it's a cup game, so. Evening, Charlie. How you doing, Charlie? See, the thing is, see, back in the day, I'm sure that did happen. The Polish would surround like Parkhead and Ibrox whenever, like, you know, it was coming to the end of the match. You think Celtic will beat Motherwell, mate? Don't know, mate. I'm hoping that after the game on Sunday that Celtic might get a spring in their step and might actually, you know, have a bit of belief. Get into Motherwell. Motherwell get beat last week against Dundee, so they might be a wee bit low in confidence. But then it could work the other way, you know what I mean? Motherwell will want to bounce back, so I don't know, man. I'm confident, but also nervous. Craigie boy, what you say, mate? Jamie, you know I go to the vast majority of Rangers games. Rowe must not be sacked. We've got to get behind him. Can't keep sacking guys after a few months. Totally agree, mate. Totally agree. I mean, Danny Rowe. Let's think about the players Danny Rowe has brought in. Chuck Quenzi, is that his name? The boy in the middle of the park, Chuck Quenzi or whatever. He looks all right. Romans looks all right. Nadiri looks okay so far. Chermiti. No, Chermiti was Hingley, wasn't he? Chermiti was Russell Martin. Who bought Fernandez? Was that Russell Martin? Scott Olsen's not looking too hot at the minute. Who else did Danny Rowe bring? He's saying Miovski. Miovski's not really worked. Why take Moore off is a big question. Don't know, mate. Maybe it was a fitness thing or something like that. Don't know. Olsen isn't living up to the hype. No, definitely not. No yet. Anyway, I switched over to YouTube from. Nice one, Jack. Nice one, mate. Nice to see you over here on YouTube. Remember, hit that subscribe button. Do you think Bodo Glimp could get a chance for Champions League final? Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. The way the last game they pumped Sporting Lisbon last night, 3-0. They've got a chance. Romans will be class. Just those four Rowe has signed, right? So, I mean, Rowe definitely deserves another transfer window in the summer and a crack at, you know, a pre-season and then a brand new season with Rangers. Definitely, he does. Definitely. Anybody who thinks otherwise is dumb, really, in my opinion. I've never really thought about it because I'm not a Rangers fan. But anybody who thinks Danny Rowe should be sacked is pretty mad. You know what I mean? Considering where Danny Rowe came in, where Russell Martin left him. You know what I mean? It's a no-brainer that Danny Rowe needs a transfer window in a pre-season. He does. He does. The summer will be good if he brings in more players. Like January, will be in good shape. Good point, mate. Aye. Good point, that. What's happening, Kenneth? Nice to see you on YouTube. Could we see self-police, our own fans, stop this police enforcement? We stop our own idiots to protect our club from embarrassment. Bans imposed on away grounds for all supporters of that team. Wrong. The thing is, I made a video about it the other day. Do Celtic and Rangers do enough to stop sectarianism? And the answer is no. They've not done enough since day dot. They've encouraged it, if anything. They've encouraged sectarianism. They've encouraged hatred. I am all for no liking your rivals. This is what I keep banging on about, right? I'm sorry if you've seen my videos and you'll see me rant about this, right? But this is just how I feel, and I've been asked the question. I am all for fucking no liking your rivals, right? You're not meant to like your rivals, right? You're not meant to. Like, Man United don't like Liverpool, Real Madrid don't like Barcelona, right? You're not meant to like your rivals. But when it turns into absolute hatred, when it overshadows your love for your actual club, is when it goes too far. And that is what happens between Celtic and Rangers. They're more interested in hating each other. Like I said in the video, you've got a good portion of fans at that game on Sunday and other games where they're more interested in looking at the other fans and putting gestures and shouting names than they're watching the game on the fucking park. Do you know what I mean? And that just absolutely baffles me, man. It baffles me. I'm all for fucking rivalry. I'm all for banter. I'm all for all that stuff. But when you go into hatred, actual hatred for other people, I'm out, man. I've told you I'm out. I'm not interested. Even if you hate me because I'm a Celtic fan, right? Even if you're sitting right now, anybody who's on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, who's sitting watching me right now going, right, I'll sit and watch this cunt, but I hate him because he's a Celtic fan, right? I don't hate you. I don't hate you because at the end of the day, why would I hate you just because of a football team? Because you support a different football team for me, so I hate you. Honestly. Jack says, I dislike Rangers, but respect the challenge they have given us for years, good and bad times. Exactly, man. And by the way, I don't care what anybody says, Celtic are nothing without Rangers and Rangers are nothing without Celtic, because we've seen it for years. When Rangers went down the leagues, Celtic stalled and they decided to just fucking bring in Ronnie Dyla and get all these loanee players in, and look at the state is now in 2026 where it should be fucking 20 in a row by now. You know what I mean? When it should be 14 in a row this year. Celtic should be going for 14 in a row this year. But they fucked it because they dilly-dallied because Rangers went down the leagues and they just went, you know what, there's no opposition anymore. There's no opposition. Let's just bring every kind of fucking bit of expenditure that we do, let's just bring it right down. Remember the Ronnie Dyla fucking era? You know what I mean? The Ronnie Rangers slept to the wheel. Exactly, McD. The Ronnie Dyla era. They fucking just went out and got loads and loads of loanees, paid Ronnie Dyla pittance, got loanees for all of the world, and they were all basically shite, but we still won the league because there was no opposition. There was nothing there. You know what I mean? There was nothing there. Rant over. I enjoy, liking Rangers. I enjoy the rivalry, the banter. I enjoy waking up in that old firm morning going, yes, get fucking into these. Right? But that's where it ends, man. Rory Dyler was terrible, mate. There are disco lights. The disco lights, man. Bad times. Who was Bonnie Dyler's signings? Ronnie Dyler's signings were like guys like John Guidetti and who else did we sign during that period, man? I can't even remember. It was all loanees, but Johansson, I think he might have been before, mate. I think Johansson was before. Johansson was before Ronnie Dyler, I'm sure, mate. Dion Dublin, no, that was Gordon Strachan. I actually can't even remember half of fucking Ronnie Dyler's signings, man. John Guidetti is what I remember. I remember John Guidetti. The banter is brilliant. It is needed, like you say. Not good for the heart watching them. Oh, definitely not, mate. Definitely not. What do you think about Keane being linked as manager, Jamie? What, Robbie Keane? I think he's done all right, man. I think he's done all right. All right, Cole, how you doing? Carlton Cole. Sorry, man. Sorry. Carlton Cole. No, Carlton Cole wasn't Ronnie Dyler, was he? Bergate. That was one. Toby. That's who I was thinking of, mate. Bergate. He was awful, man. Robbie Keane is manager of Celtic. I'm no fully against him. He's done a really good job at Ferencvaros. But he wouldn't be top of my list. Top of my list is just absolutely not going to happen now with Knutson, because he's obviously gone to some cunt bigger. You know what I mean? Celtic slept at the wheel with that one as well, didn't he? Should have went and got him fucking when we went to get Wilfred Nancy. Should have just broke the fucking. Should have broke the bank for the guy, but we fucked that one up and all, didn't we? And now they're going to be in the semi. What is it? A quarter? It's got to be semi-finals, isn't it? Is it or quarter-finals? Quarter-finals after this, isn't it? That's where Bodo Glimp are gone, so we fucked that one. So he would have been top of my list, but you may as well just scratch him out that list now. Then it would be the Motherwell manager, Askew. He would be next on my list. And then Robbie Keane. I don't want Roberto Martinez. I don't get the hype from Roberto Martinez. He was a manager of fucking Belgium and won nothing, done nothing with a team that should have at least got to a final. You know what I mean? They had De Bruyne, they had the Hazards, they had Lukaku. You know what I mean? Or he's fucking did Vermaelen at centre half and Toby Alvarez at centre half, and they won nothing. He done nothing. So no, I don't want Roberto Martinez. I don't believe the hype with that guy at all. Like you said, Aberdeen months ago, and you said about Celtic months ago. Aye, mate. Exactly, mate. Fucking slept at the wheel too long, man. Won FA Cup for Wigan. I mean, Harry Redknapp won the FA Cup with Portsmouth. I mean, everybody's got one in them, isn't they? I'm not taking away that kind of, he did that. It was a good achievement that he won the FA Cup with Wigan. But I mean, this guy's meant to be like an amazing top level manager, and he's won one FA Cup. So I mean, I'm not believing the hype with Martinez. I really am not. I think that he's overrated. I don't even think he deserved the Portugal job. We'll see how the World Cup goes, right? And I guarantee you Portugal won't win the World Cup because they've got Roberto Martinez as a manager. I'm sorry, but they won't. I don't think they'll win the World Cup. I think, I don't know who's going to win the World Cup, actually. I don't really know. But I don't think it'll be Portugal. What's happening, Jerry Neil? How you doing, mate? The board wants somebody who can work with very little spending. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Although, I mean, if the Celtic board and the manager get along, I reckon the board will back the manager. The reason that Brendan Rodgers didn't get backed in the summer is because Brendan Rodgers refused to talk about a contract extension. So that's why Celtic board just went, well, fuck you then, you're not getting the players that you want for the Champions League. I think if we get a new manager in and look at Ange, we gave Ange money. You know what I mean? So I reckon if we get a new manager in and they trust him and they have a good relationship, I think that Celtic will back the manager. Maybe it's just blind faith in me in that, but then you look at history and they backed Ange Postecoglou. They backed Brendan Rodgers the first time. They did not back Brendan Rodgers at the start of this season. We all know that. But we'll see, man. I reckon if I want the Murrow manager, I want Askew. Because Knutson's just no fucking, he's just no the man. It's not going to happen now. May as well just not even talk about Knutson anymore. That's over. Thanks for the rose, Reese. May as well not even talk about Knutson anymore. That's not even a possibility anymore. That's over. Kenneth, leave it there after 90 minutes. Banter is banter. Don't need ill intent. No place for it in a grown-up's world. It's a sport, no need to take a hate into a family-friendly environment. Well, that's the thing as well, mate. That's a good point because I've got a 10-year-old son. What's happening in the Hearts Hub? I've got a 10-year-old son, right? And he's not really into football, right? But he would come to Park Heed with me. He would come to a game with me if I said, right, come on, we're going. He wouldn't be like, oh, no, I'm not going. He'd be like, okay, fine. But I don't even know if I want to do that. I don't even know if I want to do it, honestly. Because do I want my son growing up in the environment of the west of Scotland, sectarianism pish? I don't know if I do, man. I'd be embarrassed if my boy was in the Green Brigade or in, no, the Green Brigade, maybe no, I'm not singling out the Green Brigade, but like an ultra group, right? If he was part of an ultra group where he was wanting to go and fight with the Union Bears and all that, I'd be embarrassed. You know what I mean? Would you think Andrew Robertson will ever go to Celtic? I do, mate, aye. I thought it would have been at the end of this year. They're edging Keane now. Keane's done well. Who do you think will be the next St Mirren manager? There's talks of Charlie Adam, which I think would be a bad appointment. But, don't know, man. If I was a St Mirren manager, I'd want Neil Lennon. But then I don't know if Neil Lennon would go to St Mirren at the moment. But back to Andy Robertson. I thought Andy Robertson might have went to Celtic this season, but there's talk he'll got Spurs or something now. And I don't see why not have like Andy Robertson signing a pre-contract right now. Why not? With Celtic or whatever. But we've got Kieran Tierney, so they two would be battling it out at Celtic as they would at Scotland. So I'd take Andy Robertson at Celtic in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? He's got the passion. He's still a good player. I don't care what any cunt says. He's still a really good player. And obviously he's a Tim. So thanks for the follow, Aldo, mate. Thanks for the follow, guys. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you're not following, hit the follow button on Facebook. And if you're not following on TikTok, hit that follow button up, people. Barry Ferguson, St Mirren, I heard they had him in today for a chat. Really? There we go. We'll need to pin that. Toby Boy's got us something exclusive. Toby Boy's got an exclusive here. Toby on TikTok says Barry Ferguson to St Mirren. I heard they had a chat. They had him in today for a chat. There we go. A wee exclusive for everybody. And Toby's not a bullshitter, so he's a good player, but not good enough for Liverpool now. I agree with that, Billy. I agree with you there, mate. Ferguson's someone might do well. Aye, I mean, does he deserve the job though? Does he deserve it? I mean, he didn't really do a great job at Alloa. He done all right at Celtic Hearts. When he went into Rangers and interim manager, he didn't do it. That's why they didn't offer him the job. He would really only be getting the St Mirren job because he's Barry Ferguson, wouldn't he? But, you know, at the end of the day, he might still be a good manager down the line, Barry Ferguson. I've no wrote him off yet. You know what I mean? Kenneth says, I'm an East End boy, live in Kent because I've two boys. Nice one, Kenneth. Nice to have you in, mate. Thanks very much. Sorry, Natalie, what are you saying? Question marks, Jamie, what do you want next Celtic manager? I just said it, pal. I think I would love Askew from Motherwell. There's no point in talking about Knutson. Askew from Motherwell. I think it will be someone we all know but have overlooked. Maybe someone stepping up from the Championship. Possibly, mate. So down there, obviously, you've got Neil Lennon, you've got Scott Brown, you've got Mark Wilson, all ex-Celtic players, by the way. Who else is down there? Don't think they would get to like Dougie Imrie or Ian Murray at this point. Two guys we've had on the podcast, by the way, two very nice gentlemen. I could see Bruni being linked with St Mirren. Aye. I think it's a matter of time before guys like Bruni and Mark Wilson go up a level, to be honest. I think the job Mark Wilson's done at Partick Thistle has been exceptional, by the way. Absolutely exceptional. He deserves a lot of credit for this season. Robbie Keane done a good... Robbie Keane done good as a coach. Aye, Robbie Keane's done well so far in his manager career. And do you know what I like about Robbie Keane? The fact he went to, like... Where did he go? Israel, wasn't it? He went to a team in Israel and he's been about in that, you know what I mean? He's not been shy away if he'd gone abroad and trying his hand, you know, somewhere, you know, different. And I like that when players and managers do that. It shows that they've got an open mind to go to these different countries and that. Do you think Mark Wilson is doing good as a manager? Aye, mate, I think he is doing well. I think Mark Wilson's doing really well as a manager. Ferris Varos, Robbie Keane's done a really good job there, you know what I mean? I think he's done a really good job there. Is he ready for the Celtic job? Time will tell. It's a gamble. Whoever Celtic get in next is a gamble, guys. Whoever they get in, because it's not going to be Knutson. That wouldn't be a gamble, but it's not going to be him now. I don't even know why I keep saying his name, because that is over, literally over. I need to let that go. But whoever Celtic bring in, you know, Martinez, Askew, Robbie Keane, Craig Bellamy, all these other names every one of them is a gamble. Every one of them. And it all depends how Celtic end this season as well. My son lives at Whitstable for a good few years. Nice one, Busty. Nice one, mate. Heard any fans want Bruno out, mate. Heard the Air fans want Bruno out. I don't really get that, mate. I don't really get why they would want that. Who do Air fans really think they are? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he had a good season last season. They narrowly missed out on the playoff final. I believe they were in the playoff semis, weren't they? And then I think Partick beat them. This season, all right, they've no done what they've done, but they're still in there or thereabouts. They're still in contention for playoffs, I believe. So, I mean, Ayr need to remember that they're Ayr United, for starters, and you've got the resources that you've got. St Johnstone and Partick Thistle have got far much more money, I believe. They all laughed at Celtic when Bodo Glimp look teams they've beat this year. Exactly. Some people shouting Bruni for Celtic job. He's not ready yet, in my opinion. No, I mean, he's not ready yet. No. See, a guy like Bruni, I've said this before. I think a guy like Bruni needs to be here for a couple of seasons. Maybe go to a St Mirren or a Motherwell, or step up again. And then I would like to see him as a Celtic coach at some point. Work his way into the managerial position, a bit like Lennon done. Do you know what I mean? Lennon went, he was, the under 21s coach and all that at the time, and then he kind of went into a manager, and then he proved himself when Mowbray went. We need Bruni to go down that kind of road. I don't think you can just go and appoint Scott Brown as your manager. Aye, mate, assistant manager's kind of role. Aye, why not? You know what I mean? Definitely. Brown would be like Lennon. But you need to he needs nurtured in. You can't just go for Celtic. That's, to me, that's too big a gamble. Ayr think they are Spurs. And who the hell does Spurs think they are? Exactly, mate. Spurs, man. Don't even get me started on Spurs. I am so desperate for them to get relegated. So desperate, man. 2-0 Ferencváros. I'm so desperate for them. Would you keep Maloney for assistant? Good question, mate. It all depends on who the new manager would want. I don't want to be going down this road where Celtic are telling managers, like they did for years and years, that you're having John Kennedy. I don't want Celtic going down that road again where I don't care who you want, you're having Sean Maloney. No. You need to give the manager his own backroom staff who he wants in. I don't want Sean Maloney as the next Celtic manager. No disrespect to Sean Maloney, but the reason that Celtic are performing right now, we all know, is because of Mark Laniel. It is. Maloney does well in that role. Fine, you know what I mean. But he doesn't. If the new manager doesn't want him, then I wouldn't be saying no. You're getting him, mate. Do you think Rangers could still win the league? Absolutely, Rangers could still win the league, mate. Yes, absolutely. I've not written Rangers off yet. I think that it's an interesting weekend this weekend, guys. I can see it being interesting. I think it's a tough game for Hearts away to Kilmarnock on Saturday night, because, I mean, I think that Kilmarnock will be nursing their nosebleed from the other week where they get beat off Falkirk, and I think they'll be out for a bit of revenge. And I think they'll be thinking they can beat Hearts. Celtic are in for a very tough match against Motherwell, and then Rangers are in for a tough match on Sunday. I think it is the advantage that Stephen Robinson has moved on, and it's going to be an interim manager. But I mean, anything can happen in the Scottish Premiership these days. Anything, as has been proven. Do you know what I mean? And by the way, I reckon there's still twists and turns to come. Not just in the league. I can see something happening in the cup as well. Whether that's St Mirren beating Celtic again, or, we were talking about the podcast the other night. Like, could Neil Lennon go to St Mirren before the cup semi final with Dunfermline, before the cup semi, and then go and beat Celtic and then play Dunfermline in the final or something? Do you know what I mean? Like, this season is that mental that could fucking actually happen. You know what I mean? Like, I could see something mental like that actually still happening. Neil Lennon going to St Mirren, beating Celtic in the semi final, and then Dunfermline beating Falkirk, and it's a Dunfermline St Mirren final with Neil Lennon as the manager of St Mirren. That's it. I could see that happening. I don't think it will happen, right? Because it is a bit mental, but like, anything can happen. I still think there's something weird going to happen this season, because it's been a season of fucking mentalness. Don't think Lennon the type of guy to bail out. You're probably right, mate. I mean, if it was if he got offered the Aberdeen job, I think he might have went, to be honest. St Mirren's no the biggest step up for Dunfermline, is it? Who's a useless manager? Are we beat? Aye. Wilfred Nonce, you thought about, pal? Aye. Wilfred Nonce was very bad, guys. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Right, I'm going to end my live here on YouTube. Goodbye, everyone on Facebook.